from Nzibarega.
Wow. Wow, wow. Thank you for that incredible introduction. That was really awesome. I'm very excited to be in front of you all and share my story. A month ago, I received, a text, from Paul saying that he would love, to have me here and share my story. And I was very excited and I was humbled and was like, what am I going to say? But like any of my life challenges, I'm very excited to be in front of you all and share my story. I love to share my story with people I meet all the time. And I believe my struggles and my successes will encourage somebody in here. Like you saw in my video, I was born in Burundi. Burundi is a small country found in East Africa, and you can cross it within 2 hours driving a car. It's a tiny country, so I was born there. And my country has gone through a lot of civil wars. Many people died during those wars. And in 2006, the United Nations deployed a peacekeeping mission in my country to help us find peace. During that time, I was graduating, from college, and I did English at the college. So I applied for a job as an interpreter and language assistant. I got the job. My job was, helping those, military people to connect with the community, helping them to understand our language because Burundi uses French as an official language. So my first language is French. So I worked with UN for 1 year, and after that I had to go on leave for 2 months and come back and work with them. And when I was working with them, I was staying in their camps and I was protected. Life was good. But when I went on leave, I had to go back home, and things, didn't happen as I expected. One day I remember I was coming from my running workout, and I found, a group of people in front of my house, and they grabbed me, and during that time I was kidnapped. Those people were from a group of rebels who were fighting my country. They were trying to, to take over, the government. And then I was taken to their base in the bush, in the jungle, where I went through torture, horrible things. I spent, 2 weeks in that place. I remember every morning being touched, beaten, sometimes, beaten without clothes, and sometimes they had to pour water all over my body so that the torture, could be painful. It was really hard. And I remember sleeping on the floor in a little room without window. I could not see the sunlight. It was really horrible. No food, no water. I starved to death. But one day, the government, the soldiers of UN and the soldiers from my country, they attacked that place, and everything was destroyed. Everything was dispersed, and I dragged myself, toward the road where people could see me and help me. When I was laying on the road, the UN soldiers, they saw me and they were able to recognize me. They asked me if they could take me back home, and I said no. I feel like, my life is not safe there, and if I go back, I will be putting my family in danger. I had an uncle who was living in the north of the country, I told them to take me there. They took me there, and when I reached my uncle's house, everybody was excited because they thought that I was already dead. But like I said before, my country is very small, and after some days we start hearing some rumors saying that there are people who were just coming around and trying to see if I was hiding there. My uncle and his family were very afraid, and they told me that my life was in danger again, and that the only solution was to leave the country and go somewhere else to find asylum. And that's how I left my country and ended up in Ethiopia. When I reached in Ethiopia, I reported myself to the immigration, and I told them the story of what happened to me, and they gave me an asylum as a refugee. Like you heard in the video, I lived there for 6 years, and life was not easy in the refugee camp. Life was very hard. No food to eat, no clean water to drink. It was a survival life. And the most worst thing that I realized is when I was there, we were not given, the work permit to have a job and do what you can do. So it was very hard for me as a person who was educated, having knowledge. And also I grew up in a family which is, working hard to be self-sufficient. So I grew up with that mindset. So living 6 years without doing anything was really hard for me. And I came to realize that the most richest, places in the world are refugee camps, because it is in those places that we find books which will never be written, songs which will never be sung, inventions that will never be realized, a lot of stuff. Refugee camps are the richest places in the world. That is what I saw. And no wonder your country is the great country in the world, because you have the wisdom to bring those riches to your country. And I have been one of those people who have been given that chance to come here and start over my life. I'm very excited to live in this country. There are so many opportunities. The doors are open, and everyone who comes here is ready to compete and live the American dream. All those years that I spent in the refugee camp, they shaped my faith. They shaped who I am right now, and they shaped where I was going. I like running. I like our sport. It's so pure. I started running when my country got a gold medal in the Olympics in Atlanta. During that time, I remember the guy who won the gold medal was received with honor in my country. And I was inspired and motivated. And I said, I can do that too. I started running. Running became my dream. I slept, I dreamed, I breathed running. I started to study the life of the famous runners in the world. I remember running every morning and the evening. And my running started to be better and better. When I was in Ethiopia, even if my life was very hard, it was good to see thousands of runners every morning training hard. When you see those guys, breaking records, they have put too much work in their running career. And when I was there, I tried to imitate what they are doing. I remember running my first K in 13 minutes 49 seconds when I was in Ethiopia. I was very excited. And when I heard that I was among the people who were chosen to come to the US, I thought, I'm gonna be a world champion. I came here with excitement, with joy, hoping that running is going to take me to a higher level. But I realized that life has its own way of humbling us. When I arrived here, yes, this is a great country. It is like, my promised land, a country which is flowing with honey and milk. But there were giants when I arrived here. As you saw in the video, my first job was at Walmart, and I was working at night. It was really hard for me to work during the night. My body was very weak. I remember I could feel all the time tired. Even if I slept, I could not feel, strong. And my running was affected. I could not be able to run fast anymore. My body was weak. I remember running my first Bloomsday. I thought that I was going to win it, but I didn't. I was devastated. I felt like it was a missed opportunity. But before that, the video that you watched, the K2 TV, they came to my house and I had that interview that you just watched. And then last year, the same video, the same story won the Emmy, the Northwest Sport Emmy Award. I was very excited. I said, this is amazing. I felt like a Bloomsday winner. And I said, I do have something special. My story can encourage and motivate people. I realized that I have something precious. From that moment, I decided to share my story with the rest of the world. I decided to be a motivational speaker. I decided to take a course online about public speaking. A month ago, I received my certificate as a motivational speaker. Then I realized that not to achieve success, you must first face failure. Failure is a bitter ingredient in the recipe of success. Without trying and failing, you will never get the opportunity to stand in the face of your disappointment, your pride, and say, I'm stronger. So, anytime you face an obstacle, turn it into an opportunity. You can choose to be overcome by it and be a loser. The choice is yours and yours alone. But it brings character when you decide to fight for success. That's why, up to now, I'm still working hard with my running, because I believe that one day I'll be a winner. By the way, I'm already a champion. Standing in front of you all is more than winning a gold medal, because your worth is far beyond gold. The uniqueness of each one among you is amazing. It reflects our Creator. You are amazing. You have greatness within you. This is amazing. Sometimes things, they just, become very worse, before they become to their best. Running Bloomsday, I learned so many things. The course of Bloomsday taught me a lot of things. I've trained on that course many times, and I have learned many things that I'm going to share with you tonight. The first 2 miles of Bloomsday are easy to run. They have a kind of downhill. When you're running that, you feel like you are just flying. It's so easy. For me, that part of the course represents our childhood. When we were little kids, when we are protected by everyone, when we are loved, when we are cherished by everyone. I just take that phase of our lives with that 2 first miles of Bloomsday. But when you start the 3rd mile, 4th, 5th, you will start to face some hills. For me, that represents the teenage, when things start to get a little bit tough. And the last part of the Bloomsday course is the Doomsday up to the end. For me, that part represents the adulthood, when we face challenges of life, the most difficult challenges in our lives. I remember running the Doomsday. It was really hard. My legs were so heavy. I started, hearing a voice inside of me saying, "Give up, stop, you cannot make it, it's too hard." When I was on that Doomsday, I remembered what I went through back in Africa. And I said, I overcame that, even I will overcome this one. All of a sudden, I heard a kind of song in my mind saying, "A winner never quit, a winner never quit, a winner never quit, a winner never quit, a winner never quit." And I don't know how I finished that Doomsday. I found myself on the top, and it was flat. And I was very excited. That was awesome. So that looks like what we go through in our lives. There are times your life will be so tough and you feel like you're going to give up. But if you hold on, you will reach the top of it. And the rest is going to be flat, and then it's going to be amazing. And the amazing thing with the Bloomsday course, the end has a kind of downhill. It's so awesome. It's really awesome. I wonder the person who chose, that course. He's really brilliant. It's really amazing. Really amazing. So I want to encourage you all that when you face obstacle, turn it into an opportunity. Don't give up. Keep going. This story brings me back here, standing in front of you all. Yes, I have put many hours in running, but not in public speaking. I've given keynote speeches, to some groups of people, students, but never something like this. This is amazing. I even thought to find a speechwriter, preferably President Obama's. But this is the very essence of what I'm going to leave you tonight. Each opportunity that is given in your life, it is not given by chance. And you have all it takes to do it well. Even if you fail, it prepares you to what life is going to throw at you next. Perhaps President Obama's speechwriter could have prepared a better speech for me, but I could have missed this opportunity to tell my story in my own perspective as I can tell it. In the same way with running, I've learned that we are not talented in the same way. There are people who are super fast, and there are people who are medium, and there are people who are just slow. That's the way it is. So I decide all the time when I'm racing to run my own race and enjoy my own pace. I don't go in a race and try to imitate other runners, because if I do, I will not enjoy my race. But I have learned that when I just, set my own pace, the race is more enjoyable. And I have the courage even to cheer on someone who is passing me by and say, "You look great, good job, go ahead." And at the end of the race, I just go to the winner and celebrate him. This is what our sport is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, our sport is really great. It is a channel for reconciliation. It is a channel for love. It brings us together as a community. That's why I like this sport. So, I'm going to challenge you tonight. There are millions of people in this world, but the world needs only you. The world needs your vision, your character, and your passion. Don't try to imitate other people. Dare to be the true color of your authenticity. I'm going to challenge you tonight. Run your race. Tell your story. You have greatness within you. Thank you.